Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
What up? It's Interview Style, where we talk about movies or whatever. One movie in particular, the recently watched, discussed, released, much heralded, hailed, The Devil Wears Prada 2 discussion. And I thought, like Brokeback Mountain, that we should extend that discussion by making this Interview Style. You've been in some hard-ass negotiations and hostile takeovers and stuff like that. Did you put together the reasoning behind Justin Theroux taking Miranda Priestley to the cafeteria?
I didn't think of it as anything more than a humiliation.
To make her go to a place that she ordinarily never would have gone?
Yeah. Is it more than just humiliation?
Apparently. It wasn't just like, oh, let's have an informal, casual chat. You know, we're all part of Runway here, you, me, and the plebes, right? And they go downstairs and the entire, corporate takeover team is waiting in their suits on the weird, uncomfortable metal cafeteria. I'm telling you, dude, if I ever have a business like that and I'm expected to provide, they're not going to be horrible, when they scrape across the floor, clanky metal chairs. Those are so terrible.
Yeah,
it's like
they're
high
pretty
school.
Awful. But are you talking about the sabotage or not the sabotage? The
ambush.
The ambush, yes.
And the idea being, in a Jerry Maguire kind of way, you take them to a crowded place where they can't make a scene, and you fire them. And so he took her to the place where it wasn't in her boardroom or her office, where she doesn't have command, and basically says, Runway is being stripped of so much of its funding, we're restructuring, all that stuff. And she couldn't do anything about it. But it was a strategic business move that's tried and tested that I didn't get at all. It was just funny to see Miranda in the cafeteria or in economy on the airplane.
Sure. I think it's doing double duty. The scene and the maneuvers are doing double duty.
It was good writing because it wasn't overtly stated or whatever. She didn't sit down like Jerry Maguire and be like, oh, I see. This is so I don't make a scene. Interesting. Continue kind of thing. Good. I like discovering stuff like that after the fact.
Okay, cool.
What was my idea banks off of your original idea that Nigel played a much more in the background critical role. Like a pivotal role in the revelation that he initially shifted Irv's attention from the bad press article to Andy as being a potential savior, given that she was a journalism major and could help with the spin to put Runway back on track, right?
Yeah, he's the wizard behind the curtain, turning the dials. He's back channeling since before the movie begins. And is ultimately responsible and therefore ultimately victorious at the end. He gets exactly what he wants. And he doesn't hurt and step on a whole bunch of people along the way, which I think is also critical to his character.
Right. The most powerful business moves are the more subtle, more effective moves. They're suggestions, nudges, because when Miranda Priestley is the prime personality, the best you can do is find a way to make suggestions that make it seem like her idea.
Right, to inception her.
And in such a way, to go with another kind of loopy, time travel-y style kind of movie, I thought of Back to the Future. And of course, this is long after the fact. This kind of thinking, I think, is long after the fact. It's only in retrospect that you can see that Back to the Futures 1, 2, and 3, none of them are Marty McFly's story. They're one, if you think about it, really is clearly George McFly's story, his dad. The second one is all about Biff, as strange as that is. And while his character doesn't have a redemptive arc, so to speak, it's much more about the process that Biff undergoes to change the future himself and take some agency, even if it's for nefarious purposes. And 3 is 100% Doc's story. And I've now come around to this idea that The Devil Wears Prada 2 is Nigel's story. Because when I think about Ark, Emily and Andy are in more or less the same place. Andy is still kind of wide-eyed and stuttery and running around New York. And she's finally gotten, a number of jobs that would put her in a position where she can afford an apartment somewhere in the city, albeit one with crappy plumbing. And Emily, by virtue of like her survival instinct, has made herself a climber or a clinger, in this case, to what's his name's kind of fortune and bad hair. Justin Theroux's, what was his name?
Benji Barnes.
They're survivors. Miranda is much in the same place, and I think it goes without saying that the story is not Miranda's this time around. She doesn't even have the moves for which she was so famous in the first one. She may be aware, but she's been stripped of a little bit of her power. She's more kind of a figurehead or the face of Runway. I think it's Nigel's story, and that's pretty cool. Something I only got because you mentioned it and after the fact.
I'm buffing my nails on my sweater. And the best kind of sequel, where the story is advancing, and it's probably the most unresolved part of the story from Devil Wears Prada 1. The fact that Nigel is sidelined and yet remains by Miranda's side. That his storyline not only is resolved, but triumphant. It's really satisfying.
And the last question for The Devil Wears Prada 2 Extended. Iris, you're a woman. And so I'm hoping that you'll be in the correct position, like Emily, to help me answer the biggest unanswered question of The Devil Wears Prada 2, mentioned both in the trailer and in the movie. What is wrong with Andy's eyebrows?
I think that there are objectively bad eyebrows if you're attempting to look natural. And if you're not attempting to look natural, then there are no rules. And eyebrow fashion is bizarre and has really changed over time. Because there was like the pencil thin eyebrows of the 50s, and then you went au naturel 60s and 70s, like hippie, where all hair was left untouched. And then the 80s and 90s kind of like went back to the thin, but then 90s and aughts were like natural eyebrows, but like super bushy ones, like the bigger and the darker, the better.
Yeah, caterpillar unibrows.
So bizarre. And I honestly don't know where they are right now.
But if her eyebrows were indeed bad in a way that's invisible to me, that I simply cannot discern, would they have given Anne Hathaway bad eyebrows for the mocking? Or is it just a blind poke? It's like if you talk to someone and you stare at their forehead the whole time, it makes them subconsciously insecure.
Yeah, I think it's a baseless jab meant to make Andy feel paranoid, because we can objectively say that Anne Hathaway's eyebrows were pretty Anne Hathaway and appropriate for her character in The Devil Wears Prada 2. That being said, eyebrows are highly personal and people are obsessed with them.
But are there eyebrows that are best or most acceptable for a face? Like, should people have a haircut that objectively looks the best on them, even if they don't like it? And should her eyebrows be a specific way based on Anne Hathaway's other features?
I think as long as they're clean and shapely, they're sufficient. But there are brow artists, and just as there are hairstylists who are pros at this kind of stuff and who can tell you exactly what's appropriate for your face shape or your age or whatever. That's the whole racket. That's what The Devil Wears Prada is all about. Who are these people who tell you what your brows and your hair should look like? And are you chasing an ever-changing trend?
Whatever you're chasing, however you want to express yourself. If you want to be in Iris's good graces, no dirty eyebrows. They got to be clean.
And shapely. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for playing. Love you. Goodbye.
Welcome, explorers of the human experience. This is Let's Talk Soul, and I'm your host, Claudia Monticelli. We're not afraid of the great mysteries of existence here. Soul versus consciousness, we're on it. Spirituality versus science, we've got that covered too. Join us in navigating these profound topics with wisdom, curiosity, and a dash of audacity. Whether you're a spiritual veteran or just starting your journey, Let's Talk Soul is your passport to the unknown. Let's Talk Soul, diving into the depths of the human spirit. Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts.
Electric acid.